can a New York City girl move from New York City to a small farm in Bulgaria and not just survive, but thrive? Population under 40. Okay, that's a little scary. That's a little more than usual. And I'm all alone. Maybe I should go back home. Oh, they're there too. No, I'm not going home. А те плашат ли се от чакалите?
Някой път се плашат, да ти кажа.
То доста виеха сега.
Вият. Ей, тук един ни излиза.
Къде? Тук ли излиза чакал?
Да, ей тук на
Оф.
Има един заблуден, дето се идва.
И не те е страх.
Не, бе, какво ме е страх?
Ами ако дойде глупница?
Чакай. Те идват, пият водичка, поздравяват се и се разпиляват долу. Ама те самите животни ги усещат, разбираш ли?
Да.
И се правят се на куп, чинка и бягат.
So yes, there you have it. There's danger number one, the wolves and the jackals. Now let me tell you guys a gory little story about the wolves and jackals on our farm, or as we call it in our little Село. A few years ago, my grandma and I were down by the river bathing, and this is something we would do traditionally every morning, but we wouldn't go to the normal spot where the whole village would go bathe. We would stray away and go real far into the woods. I was always very on edge and frankly scared because we could hear the wild animals rustling in the woods above us. We could see the leaves rustling. We could hear their footsteps, their howls, and the woods were only meters away. The mountain began straight out of the river. But despite all of this, my grandma assured me that there was nothing wrong. So on we went. One day, we're walking home, and our dog, Jackie, who we would never go into the woods without, began barking very aggressively and viciously. We started walking after him. I ran ahead, and a very, very foul smell overtook me. I knew something was wrong. A few minutes later, Jackie comes running back, covered in blood, feeling completely vulnerable, but also overcome by curiosity about what this could be from. I ran after Jackie, who led me towards a half-eaten, devoured, full-grown sheep that was clearly killed just minutes before. Of course, I freaked out. I grabbed my grandma and we ran home. And lo and behold, we found out later that evening that the herd and the shepherd were attacked by a pack of wild jackals or wolves. He doesn't know what they were exactly because the man ran for his life. Wouldn't you? Now there's also one other story from my father's time. When I was a toddler running around the village, a rabies-infected, crazed lone wolf appeared in the village itself. Of course, this caused massive chaos around the village because overall, the wild animals stay in the forest around the village. They don't usually come down to the village. But this wolf would come down at night and in broad daylight and openly kill all of the livestock that it would run into. And what caused the villagers' blood to run cold is that this wolf wasn't killing to eat. It was killing for sport. So, of course, everyone got together and they went on the hunt. And my father and grandfather were the ones who were able to shoot and kill this wolf. Terribly sad because I love animals, but something that just had to be done, or tragedy would have definitely ensued. For these reasons, pretty much every family has a guard dog, and we don't go grazing sheep or go wandering around the woods too often without them. This guy back there, he loves to chase me when I try to pass, so I'm not passing today. Danger number 2, Gosho the donkey. Now I feel like some of you guys are probably laughing at this, but I'm being very serious here. Donkeys are actually a pretty big danger on the farm. Another story for me to tell you. A couple of years ago, I'd say around 7 or so, unfortunately a man was killed by his donkey. I'm not going to go into full details out of respect for the man, but the donkey kicked him and he was unable to survive his injuries. So, as strange as it may sound, donkeys are a risk. Danger number 3, the creepy crawlers that we share our Село with. Now, what you're seeing here is actually not dangerous to humans at all, even though it does look a bit intimidating. This is a popovo prase, or in English, a European mole cricket. And though it's not a direct danger to us, what it is a danger to is to our crops. So you're seeing here a potato. I'm using this as an example because what these popovo praseta do are they go and they eat the roots of our vegetables. And my grandfather absolutely despised them. They would destroy all of his tomatoes that he put his blood, sweat, and tears into, the potatoes, tomatoes, all of his crops, so they are a danger to us. The villagers out here rely on their crops, especially for the winter season. We can them, we jar them, we preserve them. So you're seeing here some grapes that were freshly picked, but do you notice that half of them are wilted? Well, this is because they're eaten by birds, by insects. So, as much as there is this big uprising against spraying fruits and vegetables in the big cities, there's a lot to it that you guys don't know behind the scenes. We don't spray our crops, but to be very honest, it's going to be impossible to be able to collect a large amount of crops if they're unsprayed. I'm talking enough crops to feed the 7 billion people on our planet. So the truth that no one tells you is that if you want your crops to be completely organic and unsprayed, you have to grow them yourself. After all, we're all fighting for food, including these little guys. Be careful because I'm not sure about... But I want to put her to the side.
Mama, do you know what this is?
Mama. Yes. Danger number 4 are the snakes. Those of you guys who know me, you know that I am all about snakes. I talk about them all the time, and I actually love them. I used to have a pet snake, but they are a big danger on our farm. The snake that you saw us saving right there is Bulgaria's most feared snake, the pipelianka, or the European horned viper. And yes, they are very poisonous. So there have been incidents of people being bitten on our farm, and no, we don't have anti-venom on the farm. Don't ask me why. What people do traditionally if they are bitten is they suck out the poison immediately, spit it out, and then use natural herbs and remedies to subdue the poison for the time being. From there, we get in the car, once upon a time it was on the donkey carriage, and run over to the nearest town, which is 30 minutes away by car. So I think you can see why they are such a danger to us. Danger number 5, last but certainly not least, fire. Wildfires are a huge danger out here in Село, and not just Село on the farm, but also in Bulgaria in general. This summer has been brutal. We've been facing incredible droughts and record-breaking high temperatures. Slabwe. Slabwe. This side is completely dried out. Yeah, that's bad. 조금 너무 보다. This video was taken just 2 years ago, and you guys can see how much fuller the river is. Now, it's not as full as it used to be once upon a time. It used to be overflowing, but for nowadays, this is pretty good. And mind you, this is summertime. In September, we get a big rush of water, or at least we hope to. And the reason we are so stressed out about the river is because we rely on it for everything. Our drinking water comes from the river. Our water that we use to water our crops comes from the river. Briefly put, if the river dries up, our village dries up. The village will be no more. Now, what you're seeing here are all of the fields of the locals. Right there you can actually see one of the locals tending to her garden. And this water that you're seeing here is pumped directly from the river. So there are these big pumps that bring the water over to our land. And then we have the little hoses that we use to water individual crops. This is why forest fires and droughts are such a problem for us. And this year, like I said earlier, there have been a record-breaking amount of forest fires all around Bulgaria and a record amount of droughts. This is why we have to love and protect and respect our planet, because at the end of the day, the planet is a living, breathing thing. We are here as guests, and we're not entitled to destroy our beautiful planet. I'm very passionate on this topic, as is my sister, and I don't want to open up a whole tunnel on this. But the bottom line is, we have to respect what we're given. I mean, look at all of this beautiful greenery, and it's not something that we created. It's just something that we are lucky enough to have. And I think we all know that we don't appreciate it nearly as much as we should. But I feel like I'm going down that path. So before I do, let me just thank you guys very much for watching today's video. I hope it was interesting. I had a really good time making this video. Those jackals and possibly even wolves that we heard earlier were very spooky, very scary, even for someone that is used to them. It's not something that we hear every day. That was a bit more than usual. And all of the other dangers that you guys saw, there are many, many more, but I decided to start with just 5. So again, thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate you guys being on this journey with me. It's a big change from New York City to this tiny little farm, and I hope to see you guys for a long time ahead. Oh, and a little PS. I get this question a lot. Have I ever seen a wolf? The answer is yes. I saw a wolf just recently on the way between our farm, and there's this on the road, just call it the road between the farm and the city. And yep, I saw a wolf on the road, and my boyfriend saw a wolf last year by the side of, there's something of a lake nearby, and he left the car just for a few moments to use the forest bathroom, and he saw a wolf, a pretty big wolf, he said, drinking water down by the river, by the lake. So yes, we have seen wolves, and they are making a comeback. Oh! It's... Men не хапат мухите. And here are the sunflowers up close. So here close you see the sunflowers, and further away those are the peach trees. And this all belongs to that one guy I told you. That one family who sells the juice, the peaches to the juice company. And that in the middle is a walnut tree. And it's a really beautiful walnut tree with really nice walnuts. We don't pick them because everyone has their own. I mean, everyone shares, they're not gonna say anything, but you know, we have our own walnut trees. But the car. These are actually very small sunflowers. They're still babies. They have a lot of growing to do. Once they're fully grown, they're gonna be taller than me. And these peachy, that we call them, are gonna be like the size of my head.